Me and Kobe, besides the late great Kobe, obviously, me and Kobe never had a real relationship either.
When LeBron dropped that little bombshell, fans instantly knew something was off. Now Vanessa Bryant is finally speaking out about their relationship, and apparently, Kobe could not stand LeBron. She is revealing all the reasons why, and I have got the details. Let's get into it. Vanessa speaks on the foundation of resentment. Years after his passing, Vanessa Bryant has finally come forward with what really went down between the Black Mamba and the so-called king. The story she tells does not just flip the narrative, it burns it to the ground. This is not the buddy-buddy bromance the NBA tried to sell you. What started as cold competitiveness morphed into quiet betrayal, media manipulation, and an undercurrent of disrespect that Kobe never forgot. Perhaps the most shocking part of this expose, Vanessa's bombshell detail about Kobe's final year, where she claims he privately warned their inner circle about how they were already rewriting the story of his greatness to make room for LeBron. The NBA needed a new face, a fresh, marketable prodigy who could carry the torch into the 2010s and beyond. And they chose LeBron James before Kobe Bryant was even out of his prime. Kobe was a 5-time champion, a finals MVP, a global icon. Yet, even while he was still winning titles, the conversation had already shifted. ESPN could not stop asking, is LeBron better than Kobe? Bleacher Report pushed headlines like, LeBron James has surpassed Kobe Bryant already. According to several NBA analysts at the time, this was not just a friendly comparison. It was a full-blown campaign to crown a new king, even if it meant undermining the reigning one. In 2013, Skip Bayless infamously said on First Take, LeBron has already done more for his teams than Kobe ever did. It was not analysis, it was erasure. So imagine being Kobe Bryant, working out at 4 a.m., dragging a broken body through grueling seasons, bleeding purple and gold. And yet, every time you turn on the TV, it is not about what you are doing, it is about how LeBron is next. Vanessa Bryant recently opened up in a private circle that Kobe used to mute the television when analysts brought up LeBron. Not out of bitterness, but because, as she allegedly told them, it felt like they were stealing his flowers before the funeral. That statement, loaded with bittersweet irony, hits harder than most people realize. In a clip that circulated after Kobe's death, LeBron said,
Me and Kobe never had a real relationship either. Until we was on the Olympic team, we had a great relationship there, but it was always competitive between us. Until I became a Laker and then he retired, that's when our relationship became really, he welcomed me, called me bro, anything you need in LA, I got you, you're a Laker now, you family.
Sounds warm on the surface, but notice the phrasing, never had a real relationship. That line says more than it is meant to. Why would two of the greatest players in NBA history, two legends of the same era, not have a real relationship until after Kobe was near retirement? Because there was tension. Real tension. In private, Kobe reportedly scoffed at the idea of LeBron being clutch, calling it media hype masking mental softness. This comes from a former trainer who worked closely with Bryant during his post-Achilles recovery. And Vanessa, according to an insider familiar with her conversations, confirmed that Kobe felt disrespected by how the league rolled out the red carpet for LeBron, especially in LA. The source claimed Kobe thought he earned every inch of Lakers' greatness through pain and sacrifice. Then LeBron walks in and suddenly he is the face of the franchise. It was not personal, but it was pride and legacy, and the unmistakable ache of being replaced while still sitting courtside. There were specific moments, specific decisions that drew a line in the sand between Kobe and LeBron. Perhaps the most telling of all, the way LeBron passed Kobe on the all-time scoring list. On January 25, 2020, just one day before Kobe's tragic death, LeBron surpassed him on the all-time scoring chart in Philadelphia, Kobe's hometown. The NBA milked it for every headline possible, and yes, Kobe honored LeBron with a tweet, continuing to move the game forward at King James. Much respect, my brother. Number 33644. It seemed respectful, but what most fans do not know, Kobe was watching that game. And according to Vanessa, he did not smile once. She told a close confidant that evening, he's proud, but he feels like they're already erasing him. Think about the weight of that. One of the final nights of his life. And even then, he was haunted by the idea that his legacy was being overshadowed before it was even fully honored. And LeBron's Lakers tribute the night after the crash, many praised it, but others noticed something missing. There was no mention of their rivalry, no real admission of how complicated their relationship actually was. Vanessa, in contrast, delivered a heart-shattering speech at Kobe and Gianna's memorial where she said,
Kobe was known as a fierce competitor on the basketball court. The greatest of all time, a writer, an Oscar winner, and the Black Mamba.
She did not name LeBron once. And that silence, that unspoken absence, it was not accidental, because Vanessa Bryant, more than anyone, knows what Kobe truly felt. And she is finally starting to tell that story. According to a source present at a meeting, Kobe was furious that Nike had begun shifting its marketing priorities almost exclusively toward LeBron's brand, with talks of sunsetting certain Kobe product lines. The source later told reporters Kobe was very vocal. He wanted independence from Nike. He wanted to build Mamba as its own brand because he saw how they were already pushing LeBron over him even before he was in the ground. Just let that sink in. Even before his death, Kobe had plans to exit. He saw the writing on the wall, and Vanessa, she confirmed it. After his death, she pulled Kobe's estate out of its Nike deal altogether. An act of rebellion that sent shockwaves through the sneaker world. Why? Because Kobe's legacy was not safe in the hands of corporations trying to rewrite history. She was not going to let them bury him to boost someone else's rise. According to a family confidant who has remained anonymous for safety reasons, Kobe warned his daughters, especially Natalia, about how the media manipulates public memory. He reportedly said, "You have to fight for your name, because once I'm gone, they're going to pretend I never did what I did." He was not paranoid. He was prophetic. Just 1 year after his death, Bleacher Report ran a piece titled, "Is LeBron already the greatest Laker of all time?" Think about that, a man who played 2 years for the Lakers was being elevated above the one who gave them 5 championships, who bled purple and gold for 2 decades, who died with a Lakers jersey tattooed on his soul. Multiple former teammates have come forward anonymously, hinting that Kobe never fully welcomed LeBron's arrival in LA, not out of malice, but because he felt blindsided, forgotten. One assistant coach allegedly recalled this moment from 2018 when LeBron first joined. Kobe was polite, but you could tell he did not like it. It was like inviting someone into your home after you moved out and seeing they had already thrown out your furniture. He was watching from the sidelines. And the organization he helped rebuild, they did not even ask him to be part of LeBron's welcome campaign. That was not an oversight. That was a message. And it was received the darkest moment in this entire saga, the weekend of Kobe's death. According to multiple sources close to the Bryant family, Kobe had planned to release a video letter to LeBron congratulating him, but also defending his own legacy. A kind of passing of the torch, but on his terms. Vanessa reportedly told a gay close friend he wanted the world to know what he stood for, that numbers do not make greatness. Mamba mentality does. But that message never came. The crash came first. And what was left behind? A haunting silence, one that LeBron tried to fill but ultimately could not. When LeBron took the mic to speak about Kobe after his death, he said,
Called me like, bro, anything you need in LA, like, I got you. You're a Laker now, you family.
But what LeBron did not mention, the truth that Vanessa has now hinted at, those calls were limited. They were not frequent and they were not deep, because Kobe, in his heart, never fully believed LeBron shared his vision of what it meant to wear the Lakers jersey. He saw the TikTok generation, the super team shortcuts, the media favor, the lack of grit. As Vanessa told close friends, Kobe did not hate LeBron the man. He hated what LeBron represented, a system that rewards hype more than hunger. According to a source close to the Bryant estate, Kobe kept extensive journals, and in one of them, written after LeBron's 2016 Cavaliers title win, he reportedly wrote, "The media will anoint whoever fits their narrative, not whoever puts in the real work. That's why I build for myself, not for them." That's not jealousy, that's clarity. At Kobe and Gianna's memorial, Vanessa stood at the microphone. The world was watching, celebrities, players, fans. And yet, through all the tears and praise, she never once mentioned LeBron James, not even in passing. Instead, she said, family came first to him, and that right there was the final word. Because for Kobe, legacy was not about numbers or viral moments or ESPN debates. It was about integrity, about blood, about loyalty, the broader war for legacy. Kobe Bryant never said it out loud, but he never had to, because the real reason he distanced himself from LeBron James was not just about respect, it was about principles. In Vanessa's own words, spoken to a close family confidant shortly after the memorial, she revealed something chilling. "Kobe once told me that the difference between him and LeBron was simple. Kobe wanted to earn it. LeBron wanted it handed to him. This is not a story about basketball. This is a story about what happens when legacy meets politics, when authenticity collides with narrative, and when the Mamba mentality is forced to make peace with a machine that worships virality over virtue." In 2018, Kobe had just won an Academy Award for Dear Basketball. It was a milestone moment, not just for him, but for athletes everywhere. He was not just the guy who could drop 81 points. He was now a storyteller, a creative, a father figure, a multi-dimensional man. And yet, barely 24 hours later, the sports media was buzzing, not about Kobe's historic win, but about LeBron's Instagram post reacting to it. A post that many believe was lukewarm at best and at worst, intentionally passive-aggressive. The photo was cropped. The caption was generic. And most damning of all, it did not even mention Kobe by name. One fan commented under the post, "Why can't you just say congratulations, man. Why do you always got to make it about yourself? Because that was the pattern. Kobe's camp, including Vanessa, began to notice the same trend. Every time Kobe reached a new milestone, LeBron's reaction was minimal or delayed. But when LeBron hit a new record, the NBA's social channels would flood with tributes, graphics, mini-docs, and praise even from former Kobe allies. Vanessa reportedly told a friend in 2019, "It's not jealousy, it's revision. And that is worse." In 2020, Kobe was posthumously inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, a moment that should have united the league. And yet, LeBron was notably silent, no tribute, no post, no public words. Vanessa delivered a beautiful, grief-stricken acceptance speech on Kobe's behalf. Not once did she name-drop LeBron, not once did she acknowledge his presence. And that was not an accident. Because behind closed doors, she had allegedly told her inner circle, "If you're not going to lift him up when he's gone, don't pretend you supported him when he was here." According to a former Lakers staffer, Kobe and LeBron did have one last personal conversation. It happened in early 2020, before the pandemic hit. They were both at a Nike event, briefly caught in a backstage holding area. There were no cameras, no PR reps, just two men. And according to the staffer, Kobe confronted LeBron directly, not aggressively, but firmly. He told him, "I respect the talent, but you don't represent what this franchise means. Not to me." LeBron reportedly stayed quiet. They shook hands, walked away, and that was the last time they ever saw each other. Vanessa allegedly heard about the encounter that same night. She confirmed it months later in private, saying, "Kobe told me it felt like closure, like he had finally said what needed to be said, and it broke her heart, because she knew Kobe wanted to pass the torch, but only to someone who understood its weight. And to him, LeBron never did." If you think this story ended when Kobe passed away, you are not paying attention, because Vanessa Bryant did not just inherit grief. She inherited a war over Kobe's legacy, his image, his memory, his brand. And at the center of it all, a silent power struggle between the truth and the NBA's machine. After Kobe's death, the narrative shifted, but not in the way you'd expect. Suddenly, the same outlets that spent years debating if he was overrated were calling him the greatest of all time. The same executives who once pushed his retirement early were now releasing Mamba Forever merchandise. And Vanessa, she saw through all of it. When Nike tried to renew Kobe's contract after his death with less creative control, fewer product releases, and tighter licensing terms, Vanessa said no, not out of spite, but out of loyalty. She walked away from billions in potential revenue to protect what Kobe had envisioned, a fully independent Mamba brand. She later explained, "Kobe and I had a vision to build a brand that reflects his legacy and honors his work, not someone else's version of it." That was not just a business move. That was a good strike, because Vanessa knew that the same system that celebrated LeBron as the future had once tried to fade Kobe into the past. And she was not about to let that happen. Not while she still had a voice. Vanessa launched the Mambacita Foundation, a non-profit aimed at creating equal opportunities for young women in sports, a cause deeply tied to Kobe's heart and Gigi's dream. At her memorial speech, she said,
Family came first to him.
Vanessa made sure Gigi's fight did not die with her. She designed Mambacita apparel. She hosted tournaments. She sat front row at WNBA games. And when the WNBA awarded Kobe and Gigi honorary draft picks, she was front and center. Meanwhile, fans noticed something odd. LeBron James, despite being the face of the NBA, was absent from nearly all of these tributes. No appearances, no partnerships, no vocal support for the foundation. And people started asking, where is LeBron? Because it was becoming clear this was not just a family mourning in peace. This was a legacy being protected under siege. In 2022, the NBA released a commemorative documentary for its 75th anniversary, a glossy, high-budget special celebrating the greatest players of all time. Kobe was featured, but not centered, not highlighted, not honored the way many fans expected. And Vanessa, she was not invited to participate. Sources close to the family say she was disappointed but unsurprised. According to a longtime Bryant associate, she has watched them push Kobe down the rankings ever since LeBron became a Laker, and she is done being silent about it. That same year, she doubled down. She began collaborating with independent filmmakers to develop a Kobe-approved documentary, one that would show his real mindset, his real struggles, and his real message to athletes, without the NBA filter. No fluff, no spin, just Mamba. Because here is what Vanessa understands better than anyone: Kobe's true legacy is not measured in rings, it is measured in reach. Ask Jason Tatum, who wears a Kobe armband before every playoff game. Ask Sabrina Ionescu, who trained under Kobe and now wears his number in the WNBA. Ask Devin Booker, who has "Be Legendary" tattooed on his arm, Kobe's final message to him, written in a signed shoe. Ask Naomi Osaka, who said that is the legacy Vanessa is fighting for. Not stats, not narratives, not ESPN rankings, but influence. Because while LeBron's name dominates the headlines, it is Kobe's mentality that dominates the locker rooms. She is working on a biographical series that will cover everything: the injuries, the scandals, the 4 a.m. workouts, the broken fingers, the failure, the redemption. 81 points. The girl dad era, the Oscar, the final goodbye. And this time, she has full creative control. Because Kobe trusted her, not the media, not the league, not even his friends, with the truth. What if Vanessa had endorsed LeBron as the heir? What if she had passed the torch, given her blessing, and united two legacies into one? She was asked this in an off-the-record conversation with a sports journalist who later leaked the quote anonymously. Kobe always believed you do not inherit greatness. You earn it. And in her eyes, LeBron James never earned Kobe Bryant's trust. That is not hate. That is honesty. So here we are, for years since Kobe's passing, and Vanessa Bryant stands alone, not as a widow, but as a guardian of a man who defied odds, a guardian of a daughter who dreamed bigger than the WNBA could imagine, a guardian of a name they tried to soften, sanitize, and spin into something more palatable for the next generation. And what she is saying, loudly, proudly, and permanently, is this: Kobe Bryant does not need rewriting, he just needs remembering. And if that means challenging LeBron James' role in the conversation, so be it, because there is no crown heavy enough to carry the weight of Mamba, the blood-soaked path to greatness. Before there was beef with LeBron, there was blood in the water. Because Kobe Bryant did not just compete, he hunted. His legacy was built not on friendship, but on war. And for every championship, for every MVP slight, for every who's the best debate, Kobe had a name he remembered, a name he targeted. Years after his passing, Vanessa Bryant and those close to Kobe have begun opening up about the true depth of his rivalries, the grudges that pushed him, the betrayals that scarred him, and the faces he never forgave, no matter how many post-game handshakes he gave. Because this is what they do not tell you in highlight reels: Kobe's greatness was not just forged in the gym, it was forged in conflict. It was basketball's greatest duo, and its most public divorce. Kobe and Shaquille O'Neal won 3 straight championships together. They were unstoppable, but behind the scenes, they were at war. Kobe saw Shaq as lazy, as entitled, as the kind of player who coasted on raw talent while Kobe was in the gym at 3 a.m. In 2003, he told reporters, "I'm tired of being a sidekick." Shaq fired back publicly, repeatedly, even mocking Kobe's legal troubles in interviews. The feud split the Lakers' locker room and eventually the entire franchise. In 2004, Lakers management chose Kobe. Shaq was traded to Miami, and Kobe, he shouldered the blame. But the truth? He wanted Shaq gone. Vanessa later confirmed that Kobe felt Shaq's presence limited his growth as a leader. He once told her, "He's the best center I've ever played with, but I'll never win the way I want to until he's gone." Their relationship healed publicly, but never fully in private. Because for Kobe, that feud was not just personal, it was foundational. They never trash-talked, they never brawled. But make no mistake, Tim Duncan was the ghost Kobe could never shake. While Shaq and Kobe were feuding, Duncan and the Spurs were quietly building their own dynasty. And every time Kobe looked up at the Western Conference Finals, Duncan was standing in his way. They traded blows for over a decade. Kobe once told ESPN, "Duncan is the one I respect the most because he took rings from me." But privately, that respect came with bitterness. According to Phil Jackson's book The Last Season, Kobe resented how Duncan was treated by the media, as humble, as graceful, as the perfect teammate, while Kobe was branded a villain. "They love him because he's boring," Kobe allegedly told teammates. "Boring but effective." That was Duncan. And for Kobe, that stung more than trash talk ever could. If there was any team Kobe truly despised, it was the Boston Celtics. 2008 NBA Finals, the Celtics embarrassed the Lakers in 6 games. Blew them out by 39 points in Game 6 on national TV. Kobe was humiliated. Paul Pierce called him overrated. Ray Allen questioned his leadership. Kevin Garnett laughed in his face during fast breaks. And the next season, Kobe became possessed. He stormed through the playoffs, destroyed Orlando, and then 2 years later got his revenge in 2010. Game 7, Lakers vs Celtics. Kobe shot 6-for-24. It did not matter. He won. He broke them. Vanessa later revealed that Kobe never forgave the Celtics' Big Three. "He told me the 2010 ring was the sweetest because it was revenge." Years later, when Ray Allen was honored at the Hall of Fame, Kobe was invited to send a tribute. He declined. In 2006, Kobe dropped 81 points on the Raptors. He was in God mode. And then came Raja Bell, a journeyman guard on the Phoenix Suns who had the audacity to clothesline Kobe in the playoffs. Kobe hated him. During an ESPN interview, Kobe said, "I don't know this kid. I've never spoken to this guy. He doesn't know anything about me." So for him to say that I'm a pompous, arrogant individual, that's a quote from a player who's been dominated. Raja Bell's foul made national headlines. It became a meme. But for Kobe, it was deeper. It was disrespect. And every time he played Phoenix after that. He made Bell paid LA in 2000, Knicks vs Lakers. Kobe gets into it with guard Chris Childs. They jaw back and forth and suddenly, Childs throws a two-piece combo to Kobe's jaw. Kobe barely flinches. That moment, caught on camera, became symbolic. Kobe did not back down ever, and it cemented his image as the guy who might lose the game, but never the fight. They were neighbors in Orange County. They trained together. They were friends. But when Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs in 2005 and 2006 over Kobe, things changed. Kobe averaged 35.4 ppg that season. Nash, 18.8. Fans were furious. Kobe was livid. He never said it publicly, but according to a former assistant coach, Kobe felt, "They don't want me to win. They want the safe guy, the smiling guy." Nash later admitted he sensed tension from Kobe after the MVP years, and even when they became Lakers teammates in 2012, the bond never really clicked. Because for Kobe, every snub was personal. They got along. They played together on Team USA. But when Wade broke Kobe's nose in the 2012 All-Star game, Kobe didn't forget. Kobe respected Wade, but he always saw him as second tier. A prince, not a king. Vanessa later shared that Kobe once joked, "Wade got rings, but he didn't have to carry the whole building like I did." You see, Kobe did not pick fights for drama. He picked enemies to sharpen his own sword. Every player he clashed with, they became milestones, motivation, mental hurdles he could jump over, then burn to the ground behind him. And that is why Vanessa Bryant wants these stories told. Because Kobe's greatness was not just about the triumphs. It was about the conflict, the grit, the battles nobody saw behind the smile. He was not trying to be liked. He was trying to be remembered. And now, through Vanessa's voice, the complete picture of his competitive fire lives on, a fire that burned bridges but forged a legend that no amount of revisionist history can extinguish. Thanks for watching.